How are you? All right, it's a little bit late in the evening, isn't it? Amen. But is it some energy left? All right, thank you, and thank you for having me here. Roald Amundsen, the famous Norwegian explorer, once said, "Luck awaits those who are well prepared and have things in order." And it's hard to disagree with that. Polar travel is certainly a lot about preparations. Either if it's like packing your gear, how much food you need, how much underwear you need for a couple of months, all that stuff. And then you have the physical stuff, hauling, tires, sleds, whatever you do to get in shape. But the favorite preparation for the longest polar travels, do you know what that is? It's this. Eating yourself up. You're gonna burn a whole lot more energy than you can move along in your sled. So I actually introduced a new kind of diet, which is, of course, is a little bit of secret, but I'll share it with you tonight. Do you know what I call it? The high carb, high protein, high fat, max cholesterol diet, which is an absolutely amazing diet when it comes to this kind of activity, vacations, And after half a year, the result was amazing. It actually helped me reach the first partial goal of the whole project, which was to turn my body weight from 82 kilos into a 3-digit number. So here I am, sitting at the scale just a couple of days before departure, and has reached the milestone of 100 kilos. And the extra bonus with this diet, that is you have the perfect excuse for buying yourself some new clothing. Because your old ones obviously don't fit you anymore because you look like this. And I remember we had huge delays before going into Antarctica this season. And I was sitting there looking like this and getting, quite concerned about the whole trip. Actually, to be honest, I was almost like freaking out. Because what the hell am I doing if the whole trip is gonna be cancelled? Looking like this. I had vital parts of my body getting out of sight. So, let's be honest, this doesn't look like a record-breaking piece of machinery, does it? And that is the paradox of it, because you're in the better shape than you've ever been. So the lesson of this must be something like, never let your mind trust only what it sees at the moment. You have to stick to trusting what it's there, because it's there. It just doesn't look like it, Okay, that was a little deep, okay? Think about it. Skiing in Antarctica is monotonous, I'm not going to claim that every day had something special out there, because it hasn't. And skiing to the South Pole and back, which was the purpose of this trip, it's actually extremely boring. But once in a while, Mother Nature is sending some heartwarming love and attention in your direction. And I'll promise you appreciate these moments. You never forget about, these days out there. But my purpose was to ski back and forth. And that left me the opportunity to leave behind caches with food and fuel, on the way in. And that made tactics into this game, the more you leave behind, the lighter the sled and the faster you move. But you cannot leave too much behind. So you risk running out of food before you're heading back, right? But these caches, these were actually a perfect opportunity for leaving other stuff behind as well. Stuff that I had brought along that I've finally realized I probably wouldn't need out there, And by the way, it's... Halloween in Antarctica is not a big thing, I realized. But leaving food behind, I was a little worried, because what if other people comes around? They're probably hungry as well. People are stealing like monsters these days. So I decided to set up a guard to secure the stuff. A very, very scary guard. And of course, this is all bullshit, but the question is, why? Why on earth am I taking the time and energy to fill this stupid piece of plastic spider with snow? Instead of skiing, I'm way behind schedule. Why? So, imagine me standing here, have done this work, you know, and I'm taking this picture, this ridiculously picture, and I watched it. I'm not laughing for a while. I'm laughing for a week. You know, this is Disney World times 10 for me. It's boring out there. So the lesson of this is, you know, embrace every moment of opportunity to have and create some fun for yourself or for others, you know, because having fun gets you going further, right? It's not about your discipline, it's not about the goal setting, it's not about, you know, the mental prepping of everything. You got to find joy in whatever you're doing, and that makes you go all the way. Right? Yeah. Oh, that was an enormous response. I know it's very late. Okay, so after 57, something finally happens in the horizon, you know. I'm at the South Pole, I'm halfway of the project, and I actually arrive on Christmas Eve. Hooray, that's a big celebration, you know. That's fun. But I'm looking forward to having a rest day. So I'm sitting inside my tent, and I'm reading my small little bunch of Christmas cards from families and friends, you know, and I have some small presents to open, and I have one big one. And I'm quite curious about this big one because I remember I got it from a friend before I went. And he said, I mean, I looked at the size of it and said like, no way, I can't bring it along. But he insisted. So he said like, bring it along. I promise you're gonna need it. I promise you'll be happy. Open it on Christmas Day. Well, okay, so here I am in my tent, quite excited to see what this thing is, you know. But out comes some piece of plastic. And then I see there's like a inflating valve, or what do you call it? And my mood is dropping instantly, you know. It's like he's been sending me off with some kind of a stupid practical jokes that I don't need out there with some kind of inflatable swimming aid or whatever stupid stuff. But then I start to inflate this thing, and then I realize what it is. I mean, that was a long Christmas night. I'll never forget that Christmas, you know. I mean, imagine me waking up the next morning. You know, it's like, oh, hello, Don. Oh, my God, what happened yesterday? I mean, and the problem was actually the next morning. I mean, she didn't look that good, you know. I was... what was I doing? I mean, she was punctured as well. I had a flat tire. You know, I claim it wasn't me. We were all sleeping, you know. But okay, so the lesson of this, I'm not sure if there's any lesson of this, but I mean, it was just for fun. It must be something like, when you need, bring a friend, you know, especially one with, never mind. Let's move on. I'm starting on the way back. I started skiing, and let's jump like for 1,000 kilometers at the very, very end when we can see the coastal mountains. I have one day left. I know I'm there. And it's impossible for me telling this story to you without presenting these two guys. This is Cass and Jonesy from Australia, and they're out to do the exact same trip as I'm doing. And both of us have now for 86 days chased becoming the first in the world to complete this full return journey. So we started pretty much at the same time, and we were walking almost next to each other. But from the pole, I've kept like a 3 days lead on them. So now at the very, very end, you know, they have accepted that, you know, this Norwegian pubic hair head will win the race, you know, and ruin their dream. So,
sorry, man.
Yeah.
Just 2 more minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah. Sorry. And to make it a very, very short story, you know, I call them on my sat phone, and I give them my coordinates, and I tell them that I will wait for them, you know, and it's just too stupid, making winners and losers out of such an extraordinary journey. So after 3 days of waiting, I finally see 2 small dots in the horizon. And I know that at that moment, we're about to turn the whole adventure into something very, very different.
Nå de på vei ned, de siste bakkene overfor her. Ja! boy. You look good.
You look good.
You look good.
You're the best looking man I've ever seen.
Oh my God, it's been a while since I've been this happy to see two guys.
All right, we need to stop it there. You know, we're running out of time. But I mean, this is a remarkable day, and I still get the goosebumps watching this and some years ago. But I mean, by waiting for my opponents and sharing the record with these guys, we not only made a lifelong friendship, but also a remarkable, game-changing story, which was most likely the reason National Geographic bought their documentary and aired it globally. It's seen by something like 500 million people. It's absolutely crazy. We're not talking about James Bond. It's a skiing track, you know? It's absolutely crazy. So the lesson of this, and the last lesson for you tonight, you know, that would be something like, follow your dream, but share your victories, you know, and they will grow. Follow your emotional compass. I mean, do what you think and feel is right, but not for the profit of it, but for your integrity and your legacy. Thank you very much.